Hello and welcome back to Autism at Home and our series on making learning fun. My name is Jochebed Isaacs from Early Autism Project Malaysia, and today's lesson is brought to you by our non-profit online resource platform, Autism at Home. If you've been keeping up with the lessons, by now we've actually talked about the fun factor versus fear factor, how to be fun, and how to identify and also increase your child's interests. Today, we'll talk about how to take those interests your child has and incorporate them into everything they do. This includes not just their learning times, but play and even the reinforcement they get. So let's go. We've got a lot of ground to cover. Okay, so let's talk first about perhaps what comes most often to our mind when we think of learning. The actual lessons and contents you would imagine a school teacher teaching. The outcome of a lesson is important, but so is how we teach the lesson so the child actually enjoys it. Not all learning has to take place through sitting at a desk, reading from a book, or copying from the board. If anything, children learn better when the lesson is tailored to include their interests. Make lessons more fun by incorporating your child's interests into the teaching materials, using a variety of modalities, using games, and providing brain breaks in between. Firstly, teaching materials. Is there something your child really likes that can be incorporated into the materials you already use for teaching? For example, if your child is a big fan of animals, why not incorporate animals into your lesson materials? If you're learning about colors, you could have them color worksheets of animals, read animal books with lots of different colors, or even associate specific colors with specific animals. Next, think about using a variety of modalities, which is just a fancy way of saying use different ways to teach the same lesson. Here are just some different modes or ways of learning you can use for teaching a single lesson. Arts and crafts, books, pictures, videos, websites, and even hands-on practice in some cases. For example, you could learn the names of animals by doing animal-themed arts and crafts. Some lessons are best taught hands-on, using the sense that fits that lesson best. For example, would you rather just hear from the teacher about what sweet, salty, bitter, and sour taste like? Or try it for yourself in an in-class tasting session? And is counting easier when done on paper or when using bright counters like sweets? There are so many cool websites out there that also help make a lesson more interesting. For example, try using Google Earth to learn about the countries of the world. These are just a few modality examples. If you have any additional ideas, feel free to pop them in the YouTube comments below. Third, who says work and play have to be separate? Make games a part of your lessons. For children with more understanding, there's nothing like a good challenge, mission, or competition. Motivation is not always all about the promise of a toy at the end or a chocolate for completion. Motivation can sometimes be the sweet satisfaction of getting past the levels in a game or beating the timer. There are so many options of online games out there, be it on websites or through apps. These online sites can be both fun and educational, sometimes even centered around your child's favorite cartoon show. And nothing's also stopping you from creating your own games at home. Try adding challenges and missions into the lesson plan in order to create that added element of competition, or even fun quizzes to end off the lesson for the day. Finally, don't forget to take brain breaks in between your lessons. Children need to move, and proactively scheduling in some exercise or wiggle time in between your lessons keep your children from getting too fidgety when the lesson gets too long. Websites like GoNoodle and YouTube have plenty of child-friendly movement videos your child can follow along too. In essence, a lesson designed for a child should be creative, colorful, and pleasing to the eyes and to the ears. There's a reason why cartoons are so colorful, bright, full of music and stories, because these are tried and true strategies for getting across to children. Apply the principle of color and creativity to everything you do, no matter which one of these strategies you decide to try first. Do keep in mind though, no matter how fun a lesson is, it is still important that the task itself is not too difficult for your child. Otherwise, it would still be demotivating to them. Think of it like trying to teach university-level material to a kindergarten-level child. Now, I know that's a bit of an extreme example, but the point is no matter how fun you make it, your child will still feel unsuccessful if it's just too hard for them. Next, let's talk about play. For some reason, when we think of play, we think of it as a child just having a good time and don't really see it as a source of learning. How many times have we heard of parents wishing their children would play less and do more homework? We're going to talk a lot more about this in a future series on the importance of play. But for a start, just as interest can be incorporated into learning, learning can also be incorporated into play. For example, why not make a snack together where your child needs to get you 2 bananas, 5 apples, 3 oranges? There's a counting lesson right there. Or how about playing the I Spy game when you're out for a drive? There is a great way to get your child to practice using more adjectives and describing words. Finally, let's talk about reinforcement and how to make that more interesting. Now, this is a funny one. Why make reinforcement more interesting? Isn't reinforcement reinforcing enough on its own? Just as adding some competition into a game can make the final reward all the more sweeter, how you present a reinforcement can make it all the more reinforcing. Have you ever played a game of Pass the Parcel where you really wanted to be the one to win the parcel just because it was wrapped up in beautiful gold foil? You could say it's all about the packaging. Now here I have a can of snow spray, fun in itself, and probably something a child would really enjoy. But what if I wrapped it in some colorful wrapping paper or put it in a mystery bag? Would that add an element of surprise? How about having a special goodie box stuffed inside with your child's favorite rewards? Or what if every time your child did a chore at home, they'd earn a special token from you that could then be redeemed for an even bigger reward? The possibilities are endless and always come back to the principle of presenting a learning opportunity in an exciting way.
Pop quiz. Bobby is a 4-year-old boy who is learning how to match identical pictures together. For example, a green ball to green ball. He's been quite unsuccessful with this. His father decided to change his matching pictures to his favorite things, like matching pictures of Bobby's favorite brand of chips. Which strategy is Bobby's father applying to make learning fun? Incorporating interests into teaching materials, changing the modality, using games, or scheduling brain breaks? Bobby's father rightly identified the things Bobby did like and was willing to look at, making the matching lesson more fun and meaningful for Bobby. Hence, Bobby's father incorporated Bobby's interest into learning. Miss Beth wants to teach her children in her class how to recognize the alphabet. One day, she brings a big box of Legos and teaches her children how to make alphabet shapes out of the Legos. So, what model learning is Miss Beth using to make learning fun? Books, pictures, hands-on, or online games? Miss Beth decided to make the lesson more fun by having the children get hands-on. Joyce and her mother had some learning time today, where they learned to count to jelly beans. Then they went out to the garden, where Joyce's mother told her to collect 5 roses and 3 daffodils for Grandma. Finally, they returned inside, and Joyce's mother rewarded her with a jar of gummies wrapped in a ribbon for all her hard work that day. In which parts of Joyce's day is her mother incorporating fun? Learning, play, reinforcement, or all of the above? All of the above. Joyce's mom always kept fun at the back of her mind and made it part of everything they did.
And so there you have it. Multiple tips on how to incorporate motivation and the fun factor into learning for your child with autism. Now it's your turn. What are you currently teaching your child? Is it something you'd like them to learn in their lessons? Something you think you could teach them through play? Or maybe you just want to make their reinforcement look more interesting. In this lesson, you saw for yourself just a few examples of how to change up the way learning is done. Now pick a mode and think about how you would like to make learning more interesting for your child. All the best and have fun. If you haven't already, do check out our free online resource platform, Autism at Home, which has all the corresponding articles and necessary downloadables for you. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram and Facebook to stay updated. Now, ordinarily, we would end our lesson series on making learning fun here. But we thought, just for fun, to include a bonus lesson coming next, which is really just more fun ideas for you to try out at home. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.